Welcome to the program, everyone. Over the next few days, representatives and leaders from more than 100 nations will be in Beijing. They are meeting for the third Belt and Road Forum Summit. It's also the 10th anniversary of the initiative. For more on what to expect from the summit, I'm joined by Zhang Yibing. Which leaders have arrived and what can we expect from the forum?
We have been reporting at the Beijing and Capital International Airport since Sunday afternoon, covering the arrivals of the more than 10 heads of government of the Belt and Road countries, including Chile, Egypt, Serbia, Thailand, Indonesia, Pakistan, and Kazakhstan. And Mongolia just announced on Monday its president will also attend the forum, so he might arrive later today. And one of the expectations here is the arrival of Russian President Vladimir Putin to attend the forum. We've not received the details of this arrival, but he made remarks in a recent interview with China Media Group that the China proposed Belt and Road Initiative is a correct top-level design. And he said it has made marked progress because it aims to bring together the efforts of various countries to realize the goal of common development.
So why is this forum and the 10th anniversary so important?
Well, this will be the third Belt and Road Forum for international cooperation after the previous two in 2017 and 2019. And the Belt and Road Initiative is put forward by the Chinese President Xi Jinping 10 years ago. They simply called the BRI. Over the past decade, the BRI has contributed to the development of over 3,000 cooperative projects worldwide and has been a driving force behind the substantial expansion of the China-Europe freight train service, the new international land-sea trade corridor, and the Air Silk Road. So this year's forum draws huge attention and is expected to bring more concrete agreements for fostering global governance and infusing robust momentum into the world economic growth. Back to you, Sean.
Okay, Zhang Yibing for us in Beijing. Thank you so much. The Infrastructure and Development Program has contributed to numerous projects over the past 10 years. More than 150 countries have participated. Shu Yi continues our team coverage with a look at the numbers.
Do you have any idea of these numbers? Behind them, there's a story that has been written for 10 years under China's Belt and Road Initiative, which now has become a big community shared with over 4 billion people. During the past decade, China has signed more than 200 documents on BRI cooperation with 152 countries and 32 international organizations with more than 3,000 coordinated projects. Better life. With projects for poverty reduction, people's livelihoods have been significantly improved. The World Bank estimates that the implementation of BRI transportation projects will increase the global income by 0.7% to 2.9% by 2030, lifting over 14 million people out of poverty. Closer connection. With a number of landmark projects including China-Europe Railway Express with 84 lines connecting 211 cities in 25 European countries. And future development. China has signed more than 50 cooperation documents on ecological protection with relevant parties and jointly launched the Belt and Road Green Development Partnership Initiative with 31 other countries. The average e-commerce development index of BRI countries is now 49%, higher than the global average. And the digital Silk Road now has become the cyber bridge to upgrade the globalization. The Belt and Road Initiative has already proved that all countries have a dream and vision to build a world of lasting peace and common prosperity. And the BRI family is turning these ideals into reality.
Shu Yi. Global journalists covering the forum will have access to state-of-the-art facilities. Yo Yang takes us inside the Media Center.
The Media Center for the Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation is located at the China National Convention Center in Beijing, one of the world's largest exhibition venues. It provides a wide range of services including broadcasting, television, news and interview facilities, as well as catering and even interactive exhibits showcasing the fusion of technology plus culture. Equipped with close to 500 workstations, the media working area provides high-speed network interfaces and international standard power outlets and multi-channel audio interpretation equipment. Here you will also find 3 live broadcaster stand-up positions with on-site power and satellite uplink services. The media service area, which includes the information desk, printing room, and even a medical clinic. International journalists can get access to postal, banking, and communication services here. Here is the Media Catering and Tea Break Center. After intense reporting work, media staff can enjoy complimentary dining and refreshments. And 4 press conference halls can accommodate over 400 people, allowing reporters to attend press conferences during the forum. If you want to know more about the host city Beijing, the technology and culture interactive display area is definitely something you can't miss. Using high-definition screens and artificial intelligence, it offers an immersive interactive experience, showcasing the capital city's charm. Besides that, the area also provides interactive activities relating to intangible cultural heritage in China.
We're teaching participants with Beijing Arcade's porcelain artistry. It has gained renown for its emulation of porcelain crafting techniques, once employed with the royal court's workshops. Participants of the forum can come here and try to paint traditional Chinese flowers and bamboos on the porcelain.
We are showing the Beijing-style Chansam. It's a traditional Chinese type of embroidery. Chansam is known for its wide borders, intricate decorations, and stunning colors, all of which convey elegance, dignity, and gracefulness.
Well, everything's ready here at the Media Center for the 3rd Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. Over 3,000 media staff have registered to cover the event, and China is also ready to show the achievements of the BRI over the past 10 years and welcome its partners from all around the world. Yang, CGTN, Beijing.
Okay, for more discussion on the Belt and Road Forum, we're joined by Aurel Braun. Aurel's a professor of international relations and political science at the University of Toronto. Thanks very much for joining us. You know, I have to tell you, I was in Beijing 10 years ago for the kickoff of all this, and there was a certain degree of excitement, but there was also from people who came from other nations wondering what to expect. What do you think about the way it began 10 years ago and where it is now, and what would you say are the expectations for this summit?
It certainly began with a great deal of optimism, China emerging as a really crucial power in the international system, an attempt to build powerful links, especially with the developing world, but also with the developed world. There have been some concrete successes. If you look at certain projects, the high-speed railway in Indonesia, the first in the developing world, the Chinese aid to many countries' investments in the developing world, and some suggest that this has led to increased progress. But I think at the same time, it has not been an unalloyed success. And this meeting also reflects that there are certain issues in the international system that China has to deal with very, very carefully. And we see that Vladimir Putin is coming. This is his first trip to a major country since COVID, and there's a very strong relationship between Russia and China. We see participation from about 130 countries, but at the same time, we also cannot help but notice that the EU is not really represented except for the leader of Hungary, Viktor Orban, who does not exactly generate a great deal of admiration in the West. And Italy is trying to find a way to get out of BRI. At the same time, the international system is experiencing a great deal of stress economically, and many of the countries that have received large amounts of investment and loan from China are facing a great deal of economic distress. So there will be issues of repaying some of those loans. At the same time, if we look at the Middle East, we see that there is a very significant conflict there. Hamas had committed horrific atrocities, and Israel now is trying to remove Hamas. And so countries are looking at this conflict very carefully because it has both political and economic implications. And if we look closely at the Russia-China relationship, I think Beijing has to really ask itself, what does it want? How does it see this in the future? At the moment, the relationship is very important. It is one that China has a great deal of advantage in because it's a much larger, much more successful economy.
Right.
China provided a lifeline to Russia buying oil, but the future is not as clear.
Aurel, over the past several weeks, we've been highlighting a number of projects really spanning the globe, everything from the area south of China to Latin America, obviously projects on the continent of Africa as well. Let's talk about some of what you consider the more successful projects of the BRI and where people are going to be looking in the future for these programs, whether they be for rail, roads, port areas to go in. There's just, there's so much going on.
There is indeed a great deal going on. There have been huge investments by China, hundreds of billions of dollars, and we see some of those results. Some are spectacular, large dams, industries that have been fostered, high-speed railway in Indonesia that is only the start. But eventually the bill will have to be paid,
right,
in terms of the loans. And so that's something that has to be monitored. There's a greater awareness of climate change. And so this is why at this particular summit, it seems that the Chinese government may wish to make BRI somewhat smaller, more focused, more green-oriented.
That's one thing we're kind of hearing, that it wants to go for higher quality, if you will, projects moving forward. As you mentioned, China spent $331 billion so far in nations across the world, but they've also worked with many of these nations in debt restructuring.
They have, but quite a number of these states, unfortunately, have not been very successful in maintaining economic momentum. They are very heavily indebted. They are under tremendous financial stress. So their ability to continue to progress and to repay is in doubt. And also China now has increasing competition, not merely because relations with the United States, economic and political, have become more tense, but India has emerged as a country that wants to take a leadership role in the global south.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that can provide additional competition. And then if you go back to Russia, Russia is viewed perhaps at this moment as an asset, but is Russia likely to become a burden in the future? Because Russia is not progressing well. It is bogged down in a war. It is under boycott. And it is an unreliable ally in the longer term because it lacks that internal stability that Vladimir Putin tries to project, but which in reality is vastly more fragile.
What do you think is the way forward, and what areas of the initiatives do you think are going to be successful?
You mentioned that China wants to move to higher quality relations. And I think that may be a wise move because that's what the future is in artificial intelligence, in fostering financial institutions and combining that with high tech, fintech. And that's where some of the cutting-edge developments may be taking place. So you cannot, no matter how powerful or successful you are, you cannot do everything all of the time. You have to become more selective. And I think we're beginning to see signs of that by having a sharper focus. And the question is, how would that be achieved? And China would have to be very careful. The image that they project in the Middle East, what the relationship is with Russia, what would be the relationship be not only with the global South, but what the relationship would be with Europe and with the United States. And I think there's a good deal of work left, particularly in the latter areas.
Indeed. Aurel Braun, thank you very much for your very frank discussions, and it's going to be interesting to see how this summit unfolds over the next several days. Thank you again.
Thank you.